My name is Mike Pfaff, and this is my YouTube channel, Living in the Illusion. Now, on our board here, as usual, we have our discussion from our last video, and we will use most of this information on our new subject. Oh, and won't that be interesting? Now, here's what we talked about last time. Exciting. What goes on behind the conscious mind? What goes on behind what you're aware of consciously? And the answer? Everything. Are you aware of it? No. You're only aware of what you're conscious of. So now, in our model, we looked at, like computers, the power of the computer is usually determined by how much data it can process in a second. And through certain testings, we know how fast the conscious mind is, how fast it operates, functions, and how fast the subconscious mind operates and functions. And between the two is the input from the senses and how fast it is received into the body. Now, processing speed. The processing speed of the subconscious mind, not the brain, the subconscious mind, is around 400 billion bits of data per second. Now, our input from our senses is around 11 million bits of data per second. And this is mainly visual input. All the other senses are quite a bit smaller than the visual. And over here we have our slow, small, conscious mind at only 100 bits per second. So when you begin to compare the speeds of everything that is going on, most of the information that comes from the outside through the senses is going to be processed so much faster than the conscious mind could ever keep up with. That all you see in the conscious mind is, after everything is settled, that's why I say in another part, all the conscious mind tells you is what has already happened. It's not telling you what is happening. It's telling you what already has happened. And in a video, I think it was two videos ago, we made the statement, the subconscious mind makes the decisions before the conscious mind is even aware of them. And then the conscious mind rationalizes, oh, that was a good decision. And it'll try to convince you through the ego that the conscious mind made the decision. But no, evidence is scientific evidence. The subconscious mind makes decisions before conscious mind is aware. So the subconscious mind, you can think about it as an underlying screen on which the conscious mind plays out. Like in a movie, you got the screen out in front of you, and you got flashing lights, and things are going on, and you absorb into that flashing lights and believe there's really something there. And after the movie, they turn the lights on, all you got's a screen. There's nothing there. But we believe during the movie that there's something there. There's robbers and there's love scenes and all kinds of stuff going on. When you turn the lights on, nothing's there. It's that subconscious. Oh, that was very interesting. Now we're going to use this model, we're going to use this information, but we're going to put a different title on it right now. Subject for today. And let me read it off my little paper because it's a different perspective. We have talked about this before. How you bring your world into being. Now I have a playlist on what's called the standard model, which this is taken from, all this information. So this should look pretty chaotic. And again, we have what we started with in the last video, the power of the subconscious mind and illusion that is part of the conscious mind. So here's what we got, and I'll lay out the elements, but I want to introduce a new concept, and I have it written down here. Markov chain. Markov chain. Now, I'll get to that in a minute. But here's what we have in our standard model. Starting over here, this is our infinite field of everything, which is meaningless and chaotic as we encounter it with our senses. So the information here's our senses: visual, auditory, kinesthetic, olfactory, and gustatory. And that information is coming in, but I wanted to have it look like tracks. Like each one of the senses has different kinds, different frequencies of information. Now, usually I draw the lens of perception as one lens. But this time, I want you to get the idea that these are tracks. So there are separate lenses of perception for each track. So we come through here now, and now we get to the meaningful data. All of this is kind of filtered out, and we get to meaningful data that meets your belief system because it passes your lens of perception. And out of that, you create the world. You create the world. And so that is meaningful, and that's where I got meaningful down here. This is meaningful for you. So we start with the meaningless, and we end up with the meaningful. Now, Markov chain. And I'm going to put it up here. Now, we're not going to use, the Markov chain is basically a mathematical model. We're not going to get into the mathematics of it. We're just going to use the theory behind it. But to let you know that it's a real thing, it's a real science stuff. I'm going to put up here what AI says about it. So this is an overview. This happens to be not from Google, but from another source, and you can reference it. And it also has it on Google, but it's a little bit different. Okay, here's the overview. A Markov chain is a stochastic model created by Anton Markov that outlines the possibilities associated with sequences of events occurring based only on the state of the previous event. Now you notice that in there solely is my addition. I want to get the idea that we're looking at a chain, and when you pass one link, the other link is gone. So let us look at this process in relationship to our model here. So here's what we have. We start out with the infinite field of everything that the subconscious mind is dancing in and playing in, and it is energy and not physical. When we think about physical, we think about the conscious meaning. So we have this information that is chaotic and meaningless. You might think about chaos theory. There is still information in it. Just like in the Hadron Collider, when you smash everything together, everything explodes. There's information there. And that's what we have here. We have information. So we take the information in through our senses, through each one of these tracks. Now, here's the point I want to make right here. And another point, we're having a little Zen tea today. So here's our point. Once, now I don't know quite how to draw this, so I'll do the best I can. Once, there's a chain now. Once you recognize these steps as part of the Markov chain. So when the information comes to the senses, this part not needed anymore. It is not needed. It is gone from the process. What you have this event, you have this information from your senses in the track. That's all you got. And the next part of the cycle will be dependent on this information in your senses, not on the infinite field out here. It's dependent on this. This is like a black box now. And so you take in this information from each one of your senses through your individual lens of perception. That's based upon your belief system and life experiences, all that kind of stuff. Therefore, once you do that, this all of this out here, not needed anymore. You're not making a decision based upon what's out here. You're making a decision based upon this information here. So this is gone. Doesn't matter what you believe or your life experiences. It's the information. See, this information processing system. So now you have over here information that meets your belief system because it passed your lenses of perception for each one of your senses. So this is what is now meaningful data for you. It's meaningful data. Why? It matches your belief system. So all this other stuff, all of this over here, all of this over here, black box, doesn't mean anything. You see how the Markov chain works. Now, I'll give you an example of what the Markov chain does. You use it all the time, you don't know it. Now, when you go on Google and you go up to the search bar and you say, what's the meaning of, and you put a letter, like the letter T. What's the meaning of, and you put a T in there. This system behind that will give you suggestions. And you'll say, what's the meaning of time? What's the meaning of tie? What's the meaning of the tides? It'll give you rows, maybe 10, of what to choose from. And then you choose from there. What's the meaning of time? Or what's the time in Chicago or Amsterdam? And then it goes ahead and you just put search and it searches. So it gives you all of these options based upon what you are looking for right now. Now your phone does the same thing. Your phone, when you're texting on the phone, right up above there, you'll see that as you are writing, the texting will give you suggestions as to what to choose to make it quicker on how you text. And that's part of this Markov chain. The mathematics behind that brings up those things. So you use this all the time in many different ways. And we never realize it because nobody probably ever told you about Markov. He's a Russian. A long time ago, come up with this. It gets quite complicated in some applications. That's why I don't want to talk about that. What I want to talk about is what comes out of it. And what comes out of it is, as soon as I find it, in a sequence of events, the next event in the sequence is based only on the state of the previous. What you have here as meaningful data is based only on what clears your lens of perception. And what you look at with your lens of perception is only the information that is coming from here. And this information is coming from this infinite field. So it is tied together, but I want you to get the idea, the concept. You don't need this. As you go through the process, all you need is the current event, the current information. And from that, you develop the next. This is quite interesting. Why? Well, because when you first look at this and how you create your world, you say, oh, I don't create my world. My world comes from what's out here. No, it doesn't come from what's out here. Your world comes from what's in here. Now, I left these as tracks because that's how my editing program works. My editing program, I have tracks for visual, auditory, special effects. I can put bombs in. I can put explosions in. I can put lightning rods in. I can do all kinds of stuff. I can put picture in a picture. All of this is on different tracks. But when you get all done, you render, this is what you're doing. You render one video. But you get all through this, process. You render the world. The world. You render the world. Now, I want to be clear on this because it's quite controversial. The only world there is this world. It is a rendering through this process. There is no other world but this world. Now, in the egoic world, you're going to say, oh, no, I make this world, somebody else makes another world. No, there's only this world. You do not know the other worlds. There are other worlds, but you do not know them. This is the only world there is. The only world. And so this is the world that you live in. And if you want a different world, now looking at the model, what have we got to change? In this chain of events, what do you have to change to have a different world? Your lens of perception. This is the only thing that will cause this to change. This is everything. Nothing's amiss. Can't change anything here because it's everything. This is your creation. And when you change it, you change this. You don't change this. You don't change your senses. You don't change the input from the instruments that are your senses. When you change your lens, when you heal the past, when you let go of what you don't need, this changes. And this is the only world there is. Don't try to find another one, because there will be no other one. This is all there is for you. Now, we talked about the Markov chain. I gave you some information about it. If you want to find out more, I reference it in the description. You can go to YouTube or Google or other searches and find out more information on it. I'm not a mathematician, so when I started going through it, I said, "Whoa, I'm getting lost." That's why I diverted to the concept that the current event determines the next event. The current event unfolds, unwraps itself into the next event. And then that becomes a black box. And then the next event unfolds. And so there is no past event. Every event unfolds its energy into the next event. Now, here's your world. The only world there is. And what you do, now you notice we didn't mention the conscious mind, mention the subconscious mind. You take this, the conscious mind does, and projects it onto here. So this out here, you believe is your world. And you say, oh, we have an objective world out here. No, you don't. You have an inside rendering of your world that you project onto this screen through the conscious mind of the everything, of the subconscious mind that is dancing out here. Oh, the illusion is so magnificent. It's so great. But once you begin to recognize the systems that are behind the conscious mind, then you can begin to have the world that you want. Now, most of you are going to think, oh, I want a lot of stuff in my world. I want cars and trucks and stuff. I'm suggesting happiness is all you need. If you have happiness, you will manifest what matches that happiness. You don't need a lot of stuff. You need some stuff, but not a lot. But what you need is to be happy. Be good to yourself. And we'll see you next time, right here in the illusion. Bye now.